The altcoin market has been taking a beating over the past week as most of them are down in the double-digit territory. And even over the past 24 hours, we see majority of them down in the high single-digit to double-digit range once again. Now, in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I want to talk about Render, as I have been very vocal about this being my favorite AI altcoin here on the channel. And despite a very impressive performance from the bottom of the bear market up about 1,800%, this altcoin is currently in about a 45% drawdown from its highs. So what I want to do today is break down the price action, discuss what I believe is happening to Render and the broader altcoin market, and when I expect alts to finally start making their way back to the upside. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into today's altcoin of discussion and altcoins of discussion, as I do want to talk broadly just about the altcoin market in general. But specifically, I do want to cover Render in today's video. This coin is down 10% over the past week, 27% over the past month, and 45% from its all-time high at $13.50. Now, we started covering Render on the channel last year, and if you actually clock its performance from the beginning of last year, I mean, this coin is still up about 2,000%, give or take, from the lows it put in at about 37 cents, currently sitting at $7.50, $7.37 as of the time of this recording. However, we have broken below two very important technical indicators, the first one being the prior cycle all-time high, and the second one being the bull market support band, which it has not actually fallen below on a full weekly candle here. I mean, really since like September of 2023. So after, 10 months of strength, give or take, this coin has broken down below the bull market support band. And that's why I do want to discuss what I believe is coming next for the project. Now, first, I do want to just briefly touch on the altcoin market as a whole. So whether you are invested in Render or looking to buy Render, if you do own any altcoins, I think that this portion of the video will be very relevant to you. And what we're seeing here is just a whole ton of red, okay? And Bitcoin, although it is red on the day, it is nowhere near as red as the altcoin market is. In fact, Bitcoin, ETH, and a lot of the large caps are holding up pretty well relative to the rest of the altcoin market. And, I've also been pretty vocal about being bullish on Bitcoin in the early phases of the cycle. I do believe that we are near the end of the Bitcoin dominance run. However, since the bull market began, I have been discussing that I really do think Bitcoin is going to, beat most alts in terms of its performance this run. And I was looking for a move up to the 58 to 60% region here. Right now, it's sitting at 55. I think that the approval of the Ethereum spot ETFs is going to start a broader altcoin rally, but at the moment, that has not yet been the case. And, Bitcoin dominance here is one chart that we can take a look at to just understand how Bitcoin has been outperforming majority of the market. Bitcoin dominance is up about 40% from the beginning of the bull run from December of 2022 or January 2023 up to present date. And additionally, if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, okay, this coin, Bitcoin, basically the coin when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin is really down about 11% from all-time highs. It is bouncing off the bull market support band. To me, the Bitcoin chart actually looks very good here on longer time frames. If we take a look at it, it definitely looks a lot cleaner than the majority of the altcoin market does. So now we have taken a look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look at total 3. And this is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you're going to notice that this chart specifically looks a lot uglier than the Bitcoin chart, okay? This is reflective of the entire altcoin market. It does not include Bitcoin or Ethereum. And while Bitcoin is only about 11 to 12% off of its all-time highs, the altcoin market is still 47% off of those levels. and it has also broken down below its bull market support band. So structurally speaking, Bitcoin does look stronger than a lot of different altcoins out there right now. I think there's a very similar feeling going around where I'm noticing a lot of people are super bearish on Twitter and on other crypto sites, and I can't really understand it because, or rather I couldn't really understand it because Bitcoin is so close to all-time highs. But I think what's happening here is that a lot of people are not invested so much in Bitcoin and more so invested in the altcoin market. And while there have been some altcoins that have outperformed Bitcoin over the past year, Solana, Pepe, Bonk, Pendle over here, and then Render, which we've been covering on the channel quite a bit. There are some altcoins that have outperformed Bitcoin, but unfortunately, the majority of them have not. And that is indicated by what we are seeing in Bitcoin dominance. That can also be kind of like told by what we see here in Total 3. Majority of altcoins have been bleeding versus Bitcoin. So even though Bitcoin is so close to its prior all-time high, we're looking at some altcoins that are still down like 90, 80% from prior highs. And for people who are overweight in these underperforming altcoins, or sorry guys, I just got a phone call, or for people who are not so heavy in Bitcoin, that is why it probably doesn't feel like we are in this phase of the bull cycle and that Bitcoin is hitting new highs, because a lot of the crypto market hasn't followed suit. So I think there's a couple of things that's going on here, and the first one, the most important one, is something that I don't know if I've spoken about this before on the channel. I've definitely been kind of thinking about it, and the biggest thing for me is the fact that we now have 5.7 times the number of crypto tokens compared to the peak of the bull market in 2021. We're talking about 443,000 coins in 2021 compared to 2.5 million now, and these are only the ones that are registered, not even including the Solana memes and all the low caps out there. So there are just way more coins now and not enough liquidity to go around. And I actually do recall speaking about this on the channel because I was making the point that this is not going to be like the last cycle where you just pick up any altcoin and it outperforms Bitcoin. I think this cycle you have to be a lot more selective with where you are allocating your capital and selecting strong coins that do have the fundamentals to outperform Bitcoin. And that's why I have also been covering Render quite a bit on the channel. I do believe that this is one of those coins that does in fact have the potential to outperform Bitcoin, that has been outperforming Bitcoin, not as of recently here, as we've kind of seen the altcoin market swing to the downside while Bitcoin is holding up. But if we do take a look, excuse me, at the Render Bitcoin ratio, okay, and this is basically like Render versus Bitcoin in terms of the price action, you can see here that this coin is up about 385% versus Bitcoin since the beginning of the bull. Although very similarly to its USD chart, this thing is now in a huge drawdown of about 45% from that all-time high versus Bitcoin, broken down below the bull market support band. And I think one of the reasons that Render has been such a strong performer is, first of all, we know that AI is all the rage right now. NVIDIA actually just yesterday claimed its spot as the largest company in the world, the most valuable company in the world, taking over both Apple and Microsoft. So AI has been a very big theme of this bull market. And, we have NVIDIA here, which is up about 1,000% from its bottom back in October of 2022. Render has actually outperformed Bitcoin. NVIDIA up about 1,800%. But in terms of market cap, I mean, it's not even close, right? Like NVIDIA is now the largest company in the world, worth over $3 trillion, while Render is sitting here with a $2.8 billion market cap. Although Render is the largest AI altcoin by market cap at the moment. So I think that that's the biggest reason Render has been such an outperformer. We know that GPU power is going to be necessary for all these different AI use cases. And what the Render network is doing is effectively building out the infrastructure to offer unlimited GPU power. And then for the people that are lending their GPU power to the Render network, they are getting paid in Render tokens. They have the burn mint equilibrium, burning the similar amount of Render tokens that is being handed out as rewards. And I do think that all of these factors combined have really benefited this altcoin. However, if we take a look at the chart, while I believe the fundamentals do remain strong, I do think that we could potentially be going lower here. And I kind of want to wrap things up talking about this. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, there were two key areas that were kind of broken today, okay? And the first one here would be the prior cycle all-time high, which sits at about $8.80. And the second one here would actually be the bull market support band, both of which were broken here today, okay? And it's kind of interesting because these two strong technical indicators were actually at the same level, right? The bull market support band was pretty much at 880, where the prior cycle all-time high is. And if Render had bounced at this level, I would have considered that to be a very strong bounce. However, the fact that we broke down here does make me look at this as a pretty strong breakdown, honestly, and one that I don't think Render will simply just snap back above. Now, if we actually take a look at the chart, you can see here that Render does, it has wicked down to the $6.50 level today. We bounced off of that as an area of support. And at the moment, really, it's just range bound between this area of about 650 and that 880 prior cycle all-time high. Now, if this coin breaks below 650, I do suspect that a $5.30 Render may be back on the table. This was the last area of resistance for Render before it actually blew right past its prior cycle highs and went on to make the new highs this cycle of 1350. So if we are unable to get back above 880, I do think that more than likely $5.30 is kind of like that next key level. However, if we are able to snap back above 880, I think that a run for $10 is on the table. So let me know what you think about Render in the comments down below. Are you looking for it to go lower? Did you buy the dip? Do you think we're going to bounce from here? I do want to hear what you guys have to say about that in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.